Thank you for letting us come together to further the goals of the Clark County Republican Party and your will, Lord. Thank you for, I just thank you, Lord, for every person in this room who loves America, who loves our party, and wants to see just an amazing, positive future for our party. We pray for wisdom today as we debate issues, and Holy Spirit, we just invite you into this place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And Steve Cox is going to lead us in the pledge and then say a few words to us today, too.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Most of you have heard about some of my life struggles. Most of you have heard about my recent life struggles, and I know many of you have questions. There is little I can say at this point, but I wanted to, on behalf of my wife Cindy, who's here with me today, and my sister Pam, thank you all for the prayers. We feel the Lord's work. We are comforted by your prayers. We have been protected. We suffered a trauma in our lives that few people ever have to go through, and we are working our way through that. I want to caution you about our wonderful media. They have yet to get anywhere near the truth and have painted just the opposite picture of what transpired. We appreciate the outpouring of support. It's helped us immensely. You have no idea. So on behalf of my wife and the rest of my family, and you all are my family,
Thank you.
again, I thank you.
Thank you. We love you, Steve. Love you, Steve.
So just before I do the roll call, I just, somebody had me a Columbian news article and said, hey, they finally got something right, you gotta read it. So today in history, in 1892, school children across the U.S. observed Columbus Day, according to the Gregorian date, by reciting for the first time the original version of the Pledge of Allegiance, written by Francis Bellamy for the Youth Companion. So just FYI. All right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion to suspend the rules so that PCOs who are late arrivals are seated. That would be Larry Slattery, number 545, and Brent Boger, number 914.
Okay, and we're just about to do roll call, so we're all good.
So, you got that, Karen?
I'll second that motion.
Say again, Brent Boger and
Larry Slattery,
and their PCO groups.
545 for Larry Slattery, and 914 for Brent Boger.
914.
Are we conducting business before we ascertain?
No, we're adding two to the body.
Because we haven't done roll call. Oh, sorry.
But I mean, aren't we conducting business before we've had a roll call and?
No, we're about to do roll call.
Okay. All right, here goes roll call. My last name, so let me get Boger. Sherry Baxter.
Here.
Brent Boger.
Here.
Karen Bowerman.
Here.
Shane Bowman.
Here.
Carol Brown.
Here.
John Bryden.
Here.
John Burke.
Here.
Bob Butler.
Here.
Lauren Kolas.
Here.
Richard Colwell.
Here.
Eric Cordova.
Here.
Stephen Cox.
Here.
Carolyn Crane. Here. Mark Deason.
Here.
Bronwyn Meyer. Bronwyn. Here. Joseph Delgatti.
Here.
Larry Debris.
Here.
Jennifer Dixon. Here. Ann Donnelly. Ann. Craig Feller. Margie Ferris. Here. Linda Ford. Here. Kenneth Fuller.
Here.
Pamela Genderius. Here. Mike Garrison.
Live for your die.
John Mike Gaston.
Here.
Brian Galletli.
Here.
David Hedrick.
Here.
Jeannie Hicks. Here. Jack Holt.
Here.
Ruth Ann Hughes. Ken Holtzman.
Here.
Tom Hunter.
Here.
Wilma Jackson. Here. Jimmy Johnson.
Here.
Keith Johnson. Oh, never mind. He's not here. Josh Jones.
Here.
Robert Kerr.
Here.
David Knight.
Here.
Tina Lambert. Here. Ann Laurier. Here. Wait.
I challenge that.
Yeah,
It's not supposed to be added again.
sorry guys, we're gonna. It's a credentialing issue, guys. Just a second. Linda Larson. Here. Marcus Lind.
Here.
Sharon Long. Here. Jeremy Luciano.
Here.
Vincent Marcy.
Here.
Stephanie McClintock. Here. Kathy McDonald. Here. Leslie Mahari. Here. Kathy Metzger. Here. Charles Miller.
Here.
Mary Morris. Here. Steve Nelson.
Here.
Mary Nevius. Here. Donald Olson.
Here.
Julie Olson. Here. Pamela Piper. Peeper's here. Peeper. Stephen Phelps.
Here.
Cynthia Powers. Here. Ellen Rogers.
Here.
Lisa Ross. Here. Gary Schaefer.
Present.
Frank Schmidt. Carissa Sears. Here. Greg Seifert. Greg, I saw you. David Silliman.
Here.
Kenny Smith.
Here.
Kurt Stone.
Here.
Tom Tangen.
Here.
Steve Tibbetts.
Here.
Dan Tolba.
Here.
Kathy Treadwell Nelson. Here. Karen Trumbull. Here. Peter Van Norwick.
Here.
Bob Watkins.
Here.
Scott Weber.
Here.
Jim West.
We're done.
Eric Whitchurch.
Here.
Linda Wilson. Trevor Winton.
Here.
Larry Slattery.
Here.
All right, let me tell you. We have 79 in attendance.
Okay, we have 79 in attendance. We have asserted a quorum, and the meeting is called to order. We've got a pretty short agenda today.
Chairman, my name was not called.
Oh,
What's your name?
Adam Baldwin, 36633.
thank you.
Adam?
Yes.
You're here now. Good job.
We got you.
80 people.
Okay, and today we're going to start just hear an introduction from a couple new board members, Joe Delgatti and Joe Matilita. We'll start with Joe.
Wow. Okay. That was quick. Right off the bat. Well, after all the division and everything that's gone on recently, I take no joy in standing before you today. The first thing that I want to do is, while I serve you for state committee, man, I want everybody to pull out their cell phones right now. So just take out your cell phone, take it out of your pocket, and I want you to load my phone number into your phone, and you're welcome to call, text, whatever you want to do. I want you to complain or what? No, don't complain. You can complain, but you're welcome to call me. So it's 360-903-9940. So 903-9940. Now you all have it. I've asked David to put it on the website. You have it all. So feel free. Somebody's calling me right now. Who's that? Yeah. Well,
How do you spell your name?
So it's Joel. Last name is Mattila. Everybody have it? Good. So you, the PCOs, have spoken. You have a voice and you've spoken. You've decided to go a different direction, and I think it's a good direction for our party. Thank you to everyone who trusted me with your vote. I hope I'll be able to win over any of you that didn't trust me with your vote. I realize that I'm the state committee man for everyone, whether you voted for me or not. And I thank you for the opportunity to serve you. I promise to serve with dignity, honor, respect, integrity, and decorum. I'd ask that you give this new board a chance. We probably won't always agree on everything, but at least give us a chance. The turmoil has been hard on all of us. I know my gut has been wrenched many times. It's time to hit the reset button and time for a fresh start. I've talked to so many of you, and so many of you have told me the same thing. It's time for a new beginning. Let's heed the words of the prophet Isaiah, where he says in chapter 43, verses 18 and 19, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." I believe that God wants us to lay hold of the promises here in this verse. There is a way forward. We've come through the wilderness. We've come through the wasteland. Let's walk in it, and it's the way of love. Jesus said, I'm getting my preach on here a little bit because some of you know I'm a preacher. But he said, "By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." If we're real with ourselves, we haven't exactly been a bright, shining light to the community lately. Article 2, Section 2 of our bylaws state that one of the purposes of the Clark County Republican Party is, and I quote, "to provide opportunities and encouragement for all interested Republicans in Clark County to participate in Republican political activities and to participate in the formulation of the Republican Party and the general public," end quote. We probably haven't exactly attracted a lot of people wanting to join our party recently. I'm not saying that we can't have disagreement on issues. Sometimes our styles will be different. Let's have robust debate. But let's always remember to love each other. What I am saying is, if we heed the words of Christ, if we can come together, we can be a beacon of hope to our community. Let's all come together and let's demonstrate what it means to be a Republican. Let's rise up. Let's be the best that we can be. And if we do that, we can be the shining city on a hill that President Reagan so eloquently spoke about. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the Clark County Republican Party. God bless President Donald Trump. And may God bless the United States of America.
Amen.
Thank you, Joe. Joe, do you want to say a few words? Leslie.
Make a motion to suspend the rules so that PCOs who are late arrival are seated, specifically Steve Bratska, precinct 200.
I'll second.
All right, no objection. Motion carries.
So I found out, found out yesterday that I was going to be introducing myself to you all, and I decided not to prepare anything. But I guess, so the way that it went was I was nominated and went unopposed. So I really didn't get to see who would have voted for me, right? But I want to tell you that I appreciate being here in this position. I'm getting started right now, and if I didn't get a vote, I'll at least ask that you guys sustain me in what I'm doing. And if there are things that you think are going wrong, or you have suggestions about things that should be done more correctly, let me know. Don't keep it from me. Let me know. I want to do you guys right, and I want to serve you guys, and I want to serve this board well. So there was we did sort of a reset, right? And on that reset, it means more work. It means more work because there's a lot of stuff that, you know, was in place and ready to go, and resetting definitely means more work, but I felt it was the right thing to do, and I'll hold to that. I don't mind doing more work and putting forth more effort to make sure things get done right and that we know what's going on. So I appreciate you guys, and if you don't know me yet, come up and get to know me, and I want to get to know you guys as well, and I appreciate being here. Thanks.
Thank you, Joel.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of order. Did we skip the adopting the rules?
Oh, you're right, we did. Do we have a motion to accept the rules?
So moved. I'd like to make note that there are a couple things missing in the
Okay.
because the rules are mostly agenda,
Yeah.
and our bylaws say that new business and good of the order are always included.
Oh, okay, we'll as soon as the agenda before the adjournment, we'll add in the new business.
New business.
Go to the order.
And I would like to ask that you give us a report on the mother of all resolutions that you guys made the other day that undid everything the board's ever done. Maybe
Okay.
you could explain that further.
Yes, sir.
And I don't see on here where the removal of the chairman is on here.
Yeah, that would be part of the removal of the resolutions.
Okay, so when you tell us, maybe when you give us a report on that, you can explain, you know exactly what was removed, how far back that goes, and who decides what's repealed. Because I imagine we're not going to repeal, like funding the Lincoln Day dinner last year or something like that.
Well, no, it's just resolutions and
Okay. All right.
policies and appointments. Okay, so next on the agenda, we're going to hear from Leslie Meharry.
We should probably go ahead and adopt the rules.
Oh, good point. Okay. Any objection to the rules with adding in new business before adjournment? And go to the order. All right, so moved. Leslie. So as we know, most people here know that Leslie had initially sent out a resignation and then had rescinded it and is willing to continue as vice chair. So she'll say a few words and we will take a vote.
It is true, I walked out in the middle of a CCRP board meeting on October 2nd in utter frustration. There was mounting tension on the board, made worse by the Lincoln Day dinner. That tension never helps any situation. Joseph Wagner had sent the board a resolution he crafted at the request of Suzanne that listed 5 items where David Gallant lent money. I sent Joseph a response prior to the board meeting that noted that 3 of the items were false allegations and that I thought the resolution was overblown. After spending over an hour and a half at the August 2nd meeting, tension was mounting. Lewis left the meeting indicated he was done with the board, so we took a break before continuing on with the resolution about David. A copy of the resolution was handed out, and I saw that there was not a single change made to the resolutions. I turned to Joseph and asked why my feedback was ignored, and he said he didn't change anything because he had other information. No one asked me about my feedback, and I had actually contacted the Houghton about one charge, and another was in the LDD budget. I did not want to stay another hour for needless arguing over items that should not even have been in the resolution, and I was tired of the drama. It seemed to me that my information was not valued, and so out of frustration, I left and mentioned resigning. The next morning, I was still upset
and wrote an email confirming my resignation. After August 2nd, I saw that David was being attacked for financial misdeeds on social media that I knew were not true and or they were grossly misconstrued. I just could not stand by and watch a young man be accused of things that could affect his entire career when I had proof the accusations were false. And that's the same way I examined information and defended Suzanne when the allegations were made about her too. Very consistent, I did the same thing in both cases. When I found I could return, I'd had enough time to decompress and felt strong enough to stand up to the possible attacks. After my rescission was announced, I received an email on August 31st accusing me of appearing to be bribed. I was just trying to defend what I saw as unfair accusations. I just couldn't stand by and see someone's future being affected by serious financial accusations that were not true. During this time, things were posted on social media about me that caused my daughter to tell me that she would no longer allow my granddaughter to attend any political events. I've continued to perform duties assigned to the vice chair, such as update the list of election observers, send out the schedule for this election cycle, update the PCO credentials, and set up the check-in, and lead the meeting and help with the cleanup. I also produced the LDD thank you letters and held a wrap-up meeting and produced the copious notes of lessons learned. If you decide you want me to continue as your vice chair, I will try my best to put the hard lessons learned, and there have been many, to good use for the benefit of the CCRP. Thank you.
So, since there was a resignation issued and then the rescission, we are going to take a vote on accepting the rescinding of the resignation, which means Leslie will continue as vice chair if it passes and not if it fails. So a yes vote will be to continue with Leslie as vice chair, and a no vote will be to not have a vice chair currently. So we'll do it by a show of hands.
Point of information.
Yes, sir.
What happened to the vice chair that we elected last Tuesday?
We did. No, we did, yeah. So go ahead with a show of hands, and we have Sergeant Arms that can count.
Are you showing hands for yes?
A yes vote for Leslie to continue as vice chair. All in favor, raise your hand. We get a count.
I count 34 on this side.
Leslie, you can vote. Okay. Do you have an accurate count? Okay. All opposed, please raise your hand. I think that's pretty obvious right there. Motion carries. Thank you, Leslie. At our last central committee meeting, the body overwhelmingly passed a 7 committees resolution that focuses on each kind of major area of the party. We divided it up and we tried to figure out what were the 7 areas that, or we actually put forth, I think, 10 committees to the PCOs. There was a survey about it. You guys gave us some feedback, and then we put those into 7 committees. That's what's the next one. On those 7 committees that you guys gave us feedback that you guys would like to be a part of, it was bylaws and resolutions, candidate support, education and training, events and fundraising, operations, outreach, and voter integrity. To launch these meetings, we haven't been able to get too much started yet, so we're excited today. We're going to break up into small groups, and whatever committee that you feel is something that you'd like to be a part of or just be informed on, we're asking everybody to pick at least one committee and there are going to be team leaders for these groups that'll sign up everybody. They're going to have clipboards look like this. We're going to plan a launch date, so you actually have a organizing meeting for that committee and get a volunteer to do the contacting for it. So Trevor Winton.
Yeah, actually, point of information.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Trevor Winton, precinct 460. If I understand correctly with the agenda item, we're going to break into small groups and then come back together for
Yes.
new business. Is that correct?
Yes. But after these are all put down on here, then the meeting leaders that are taking the notes are going to give a report back to you guys, let you know when the date is for that meeting, who's going to be sending out the contact information, how many people signed up
I
for it.
have a couple of motions I'd like to bring before the body, but I'm afraid people may leave after. Is it appropriate to make them now, or?
We're going to do new business immediately following this. So this really shouldn't take very long.
How long?
So Trevor Winton, I guess if you want to stand up over here. Trevor Winton has bylaws and resolutions. Joe Matilita has candidate support, if you want to stand up over on that side. Tom Tangen has voter integrity. And you guys can start making your way if you want to see one, if you see one that you want to be a part of. I will do the events and fundraising. Leslie has education and training, right?
How long is this going to be?
We expect about a 5 to 10 minute conversation to write everything down, plan it, and then come back together. Leslie. Education training. Mark Deason, right here, has operations. Jimmy Johnson has outreach. And that's it.
I like Lakeshore.
So again, we got bylaws and resolutions with Trevor Winton. I'm going to do events and fundraising up front here. Leslie, education and training. Jimmy Johnson, outreach. Mark Dewson, operations.
Yeah, bylaws. Yeah, so David asked me to help organize this session for today.
If anybody has a question where to go, just let me know.
Just to reiterate, the goal of this is to, he said to take 5 or 10 minutes. I think we can do it. We want to set a date and time to launch the bylaws and resolution committee. We want to set a location.
The events and fundraising committee, and we are going to launch that November 8th at Royal Oaks and probably get some more people on there.
So operations has 5, and we have a launch date to be determined.
So the Bylaws and Resolution Committee has officially set a launch date, although if it's okay, we're going to do an email poll after this, and I'll handle that to modify that tentatively for November 17th. It's a Friday at 6:30 p.m. at the CCRP headquarters. And I'm the contact for that so far, yep. And we have roughly 14 members. So.
I apologize, but voter integrity got the 10 best and brightest PCOs. So we will be having a meeting in the future.
And the contact for that one would be Tom Tangen if anybody else wants to join more than one committee. Leslie. So Leslie signed up 3 or 5 total for education and training committee. Jimmy.
What?
Get up.
We've got about a dozen names of folks. I particularly enjoy going out and talking to my neighbors, so this is a particularly good spot for me. And we've got about a dozen so far, and anybody that wants to do this is welcome. I just need to get your contact information, and we'll begin organizing this and letting you know when we'll be. So, thanks.
All right, well, yeah, give yourself a round of applause. Thank you guys for signing up. So with the committees, the goal will be, I think with the exception of operations, you'll elect the chair of the committee at your organizing meeting, and then every quarterly meeting, the chairs of each of the 7 committees will give a report back to the body on the operations and what's going on with that committee. Next, we will go to new business, and I guess our Secretary Karen will read a resolution that was passed by the board.
So on Wednesday, we had a small board meeting, and it was called by David, and it reads as follows. Whereas new board members were elected new voting board members were elected. We realized only Joseph was the new guy. New voting board members were elected on October 17, 2017, which reset the board to serve in the best interest of the Clark County Republican Party, whereas previous resolutions approved by prior board members included proposals which directly conflict with the CCRP bylaws, whereas previous resolutions and meeting minutes approved by prior board members included inaccurate information. Therefore, be it resolved that any and all policies, resolutions, and board appointments which have not been ratified by the Clark County Republican Central Committee and which were passed prior to October 17, 2017 by previous boards of the CCRP are hereby null and void effective immediately on October 18, 2017. Therefore, be it also resolved that the Clark County Republican Party Board declares this a Republican reset for the party leadership and is committed to refocusing on the purpose of the CCRP as outlined in its bylaws.
Yeah. You have some new business. Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Tom.
Could we have the vote on that resolution?
It was a board resolution.
What's that?
It was just a board resolution.
Could we have a vote on who was in favor and who was against it? With the names, or just the names of the people that voted for and against it?
He wants the vote from the board. We didn't do a roll call.
Yeah, we didn't do a roll call vote.
No, in regards to Wednesday. Wednesday's.
There wasn't a roll call vote. It was just a motion carries.
Okay.
Trevor Whitten.
Yeah, I have. I wanted to make a couple of motions. I'll do one at a time. And here's the.
Thank you, Trevor Winton, Precinct 460. First resolution, or motion rather, I want a motion to the body in light of the sensitivity with respect to financial transactions, the concerns expressed by the previous members of the board and the chair. I would like to bring it to all of us to make a motion that we formally state that in the record that we want to see Section 4, Article 4, Section 4, number C, which the treasurer has to sign in our bylaws currently as it states today, all checks. So I just want to make sure that that's everyone recognizes. I know the tradition's been in the past that we don't necessarily do that all the time, but I think under the circumstances, we need to make sure that we make a bold statement that considering the concerns at the moment that the treasurer and either the chair or the vice chair per the bylaws sign all checks. So that's my motion.
Trevor, want to read for you?
Yes.
To address debit transactions?
Does it address debit transactions?
Yeah, debit card for the account.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, it says checks specifically.
Right.
So you're talking debit card?
That's like a check.
Motion to amend.
Well, then let's debate that perhaps. Maybe you could make a friendly motion because my understanding, I'm reading Section 4, Article 4, Section 4, C, which says the duties of the treasurer shall be to sign all checks drawn on the CCRC bank account with the joint signature of the county chairman or the county vice chairman, is what it reads in the bylaws.
Point of information, almost all banks, for a long time now, have discontinued two signature checks.
Right.
They don't do that anymore. It's, and our bylaws says chairman, right?
The bylaws specifically I just read said both the chair or the vice chair and the treasurer have to jointly sign a check.
But I'm just saying that according to the banks, there is more.
Yeah, I've also heard that. I haven't verified myself that the banks don't force that, but anyway.
Did anybody second it so we can have
Yeah, that's
discussion?
true.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so if there's discussion, people, if you can stand up and talk to the body, I think we'll probably hear you. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Yeah.
Okay, Trevor, let's really clearly define this motion real quick. What is the motion exactly?
Yeah. Thank you, can do. The motion is that we, as a body of PCOs, state that the executive committee follow the existing bylaws. Article 4, Section 4, Item C, that the duties of the treasurer shall be to sign all checks drawn on the CCRC bank account with the joint signature of the county chairman or county vice chairman. So,
I second that.
Okay, and so basically we're taking a vote to reaffirm our bylaws here.
thank you.
Okay, so Carolyn Crane, 337. Two things. First of all, I love that. Secondarily, he's right. My son's an accountant, works in banking. Penny Ross's daughter is the manager of one of our local chain of banks, and 2 signature checks aren't even accepted.
They are.
They're accepted, but they won't, the bank won't require it.
At her bank, they are not accepted, and they're always looked at a gazillion times. They get kicked out and they get hand processed. So the banks are not happy with that system. So that's just a thought. As far as the thought with regards to the debit card process, you guys have passed motions that set caps for what you're spending, and your debit cards are really there to meet those incidental expenditures. And I would imagine that we would anticipate that this board can control that. That's just my thought.
Yes. Sharon Long.
Sharon Long, Precinct 675. I have opened accounts, and it's true the banks do not require 2 signatures. However, they do accommodate it. I have a nonprofit that I belong to, and we, as a practice, require 2 signatures, and we sign all our checks with 2 signatures, and they're never rejected. So it would be a simple matter for us.
Okay, thank you. I think we can take a vote on this. All in favor of reaffirming?
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion.
Okay, I think Richard was first.
Can I make an amendment to the motion? I
Okay.
just want to add that I would like to see that no party can go to the bank and get a cashier's check. This double check thing, I think is a good idea, double signature. That way it's a paper trail within our own organization. Not what the bank needs, what we need to make sure that everything's being done right.
So that would be an
So
amendment
the
to the
motion I want to add
bylaws.
is that to include that no person may go to the bank and get a cashier's check, which only requires 1 signature.
Sure.
Only checks can be used.
I guess point of information, you said that ultimately this is we're going to be enforcing the bylaws?
Correct. Well, that was, the original motion was to reaffirm the bylaws.
Correct. So how do we do that? Are there even any methods in place within the bylaws that if there's any infractions that the person's held accountable? Is there a method in place? So you're saying that this is to make sure that...
This is the body reaffirming something that hasn't been followed in several years. So it was brought to point recently, and now the body's reaffirming that they want that to take place.
Right, but how do we do that? You're saying to reaffirm it, but are there any measures in place that or guidelines for us to be able to make sure that the bylaws are adhered to? There's not. So how do we do that? So that means when someone breaks the bylaws, there's no methods. I mean,
Can I
the catch
second
could be a big
Richard's
one.
amendment real quick?
Yeah, so you're...
Second.
Second my amendment.
So, Richard, why don't you state what exactly what is the amendment?
That the amendment states, to the best of my knowledge offhand, that no person who has access to the accounts may go to the bank and withdraw funds by cashier check.
So you want to add that, or you want to make that, can we do that as a separate motion?
Just add, it's an amendment to what the
Okay, so
underlying-
then we have a motion to make an amendment to add that nobody can go to the bank to withdraw a cashier's check. And it was second.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
We still need to resolve the 2 signature thing before we go on to anything else.
Actually, that's
and my question is, what is our...
No, right now we moved on because it was motioned and seconded. So we're on an amendment to the motion.
Well,
to add some language to it.
but my question is this, who is our bank?
We bank through Umpqua.
And do they accept two-party checks? I mean, two-party signatures?
Yeah.
They do?
They don't. They won't require it, but they accept it.
How do you know?
Because we ask them. Yeah. They accept it.
That's all.
And
And Donnelly.
Are we talking to the motion,
225.
the amendment
I
now?
want to
yes.
strongly support Trevor's original resolution. It's just very good business to stick to your bylaws. I've served on numerous
So
boards.
we're on to the amendment
Yeah,
now.
okay, so I can sit down and express support of the original.
Okay. So, does anybody have anything else to say about the amendment to the motion? Bob.
There's enough difference between the amendment and the motion that the amendment should be a separate motion.
Okay. So it's been, Sharon?
I just want to point out that there may be a requirement for certain contracts that you have a cashier's check. So I would amend the amendment that 2 people go for a cashier's check.
I'll second that.
So a friendly amendment?
Yes.
That it would be 2 people instead of no people.
Yeah.
So the amendment is to require 2 people to draw the funds from the bank for a cashier's check.
It should be 2 board members. 2 board members.
2 board members. Is that okay? 2 board. So the amendment is that we're going to vote on right now is to add the requirement to have 2 board members withdraw.
Hey, I don't want to muddy it at all. I just want to say instead of 2 board members, since we're saying they have to be signed by the treasurer or the vice chair and chair, 2 of those 3 people need to go for a cashier's check as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So 2 of the required 3 people.
Cashier's check is a check.
That's why it takes a group. All we're doing here is reaffirming the original bylaw.
Correct.
You can't change the bylaw.
So this is a reaffirmation of the bylaws.
But you're making an amendment.
No, actually, the way that the amendment, the friendly amendment that was just made was actually in order because it's following with the bylaws requirement to have 2 of the 3 people go withdraw the check. That would be in line with what the bylaws state. We are on the amendment to it. We are voting. We're going to take a vote on the amendment first. You have to. You have to do the amendment first, and then we'll take a vote. So the amendment again is to have 2 of the 3 required people sign to withdraw any cashier's check. And this is just to take a vote as far as adding this to the original motion that Trevor made. I think we're good to take a vote on this real quick.
Point of information.
Okay.
Sorry. If we are making an amendment to an existing bylaw that we are reaffirming, does that require a 2/3 vote of the body as it is amending an original affirmation?
A cashier's check is a check, so this is actually in line with what the bylaws currently state. So this doesn't conflict with it. So, all in favor of Richard's amendment to have 2 of the 3 required people sign to withdraw a cashier's check as well, say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. Motion carries. Now we're on to the original, which is as amended.
Yeah, maybe read it.
Okay.
That we reaffirm. Go ahead.
So it's a motion by Trevor Wynn, PCO, that the executive board follow the bylaws and that that only the treasurer sign all checks with a second signature by the chair or vice chair as needed. We added as needed, but we don't.
No,
Just
it doesn't
the 2.
say as needed in the bylaws.
All right, so chair and vice chair. And the amendment is, and that no party or person who has access to the account can go to the bank for cashier's check, which only currently requires a signature. So we're saying that.
No, so we're saying that's the amendment is that we add 2 of those 3, the treasurer plus the chair and vice chair also
So we're just
are
truly
required.
adding cashier checks
Yeah, we're just
to
adding
the
cashier
original.
checks to the-
So, okay, so it's a motion to follow the bylaws and that only the treasurer can sign all checks, including cashier's checks. So truly, we're just adding those words?
Sounds good, the word,
Right,
as long as
because
we're
it
adding
is-
a double signature requirement, all checks.
Require double signatures with a second signature by the chair or vice chair. All right, that's the correct amendment.
Okay, so I think we're going to take a vote on this, again, reaffirming our bylaws. Okay, any other discussion? So now we're going to take a vote on the motion to reaffirm the bylaws that we just discussed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Okay, so
Division.
do we have any?
Since we're in the middle of a discussion of bylaws stuff, Mr. Chairman, I would like to bring forward Article 3, I believe it is, of our bylaws is in violation of Washington state law. It's the section under the legislative district chair's responsibilities. RCW 29A.80 states that political organizations and parties shall have the right to create policies and rules which are not already addressed in statutory law. And you go on down and .031 states the chair shall have the authority to appoint PCOs. It does not state that the board shall have that authority.
Is she making a motion?
It states, excuse me, under the law, we're not allowed to be in violation of the law. So if I could finish, I would let you know
What's the
that
motion?
our bylaws are in violation of the law, and I'd like to strike that clause which is in violation of law.
Is there a motion?
That's a motion to strike the clause which is in violation of law.
PCO 5.
Point of order, oh, go ahead, sorry.
This is out of order. We cannot change bylaws without 10-day notice to the board and then 7 days notice to
That's
the whole
correct.
party.
So we can't strike that today.
That's going to have to happen because we're in violation of law.
That's correct. But it's all Trevor.
Yeah. Last motion.
Thank you for bearing with me. Trevor Winton, Precinct 460. So also in light of the financial concerns regarding our organization, I would like to make a motion to add to the next regularly scheduled Central Committee meeting an agenda item to discuss proposal that myself and several others, Precinct Committee officers, Wilma Jackson, Bob Butler, and Sharon Long, Carol Brown, and Josh Jones, we were discussing at the beginning. We'll bring back some proposals in terms of how to ourselves fundraise and provide for an independent audit going back 2 years just of our financial books. So that's my motion to only add it to the agenda of the next regularly scheduled meeting. We'll propose, send those proposals ahead of time for consideration.
Second.
Bob Butler seconds. And so it's to add an agenda item stating,
Motion by Trevor to add an agenda item to bring back
A proposal
the proposal.
for an independent audit going back 2 years only to look at our financial transactions in our organization.
okay,
We will propose a way to fundraise for that as well.
perfect. Okay, do we have any discussion? Oh, you guys want to take a vote?
Is there a second?
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay.
I have a motion. I move that we direct the bylaw, actually, I don't know which committee, we got these new committees, I don't know which is the proper committee.
What is it, resolutions, bylaws?
I'm not sure. I move that we direct the committee, as appropriate, whichever committee, to develop a list of words that PCO should never use when referring to others, because they could trigger a lawsuit if you're otherwise unaware of legal implications of the word. I don't know if that's like for the education committee. What would be the proper committee? Yeah. Education committee to educate the PCOs that they could get sued if they use the wrong word.
I second that.
Okay.
Steve.
All right, so then I'll speak to it. So we had, Leslie today said it was a word that somebody used that enraged her, and our chairman has sued a PCO for using a word in an email. And so I think that we're all in jeopardy of free speech, or I guess it's not free speech. I don't know. Another board member told me that, this is a word that has legal implications or something. I don't know. I'm no wordsmith. So anyway, it seems like a good project for the committee.
So you want to require the training committee to make a list of words?
It would even be awesome if they'd make a list of words we can use. But the motion really is for words that, can get us into trouble,
So if the body wants to make a requirement of the training committee to make a list of words you can't use, and seconded by Steve Proska. All in favor of that motion?
Wait a second. I'm sorry. I love what you're doing here. Well, I love the idea, okay, of let's all start being nice. We cannot start truncating, abridging, and telling people what their freedom of speech is.
Well, that's what happened. That's why
We can't do it.
we are doing it.
Could you maybe explain more?
Can we drop the suit?
We can educate them.
Yeah, right?
My concern is, if we're going to do that, we need to have a legal opinion. How do we know what can and can't be used in a lawsuit? So I think it would need to have some money spent to hire a lawyer to tell us what can and is and not, can and can't be used in a lawsuit. I don't know. How would we know?
So, is it supposed to be all words that we can't use, or just some words?
Yes, it'll be a list. It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna speak to, what the word was that was upsetting to Leslie and has caused the chairman to file a lawsuit against the PCO. I don't know who ought to speak to that, but whatever the words are that can get you into that kind of trouble that ends up costing you thousands of dollars. In fact, well, no, I won't say it.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. We need to find out what those words are, and the committee ought to be able to find an attorney or whatever that can help. Because Leslie's point that who knows what those words are? Well, that's exactly the point. You end up with a lawsuit because you don't know what this.
Somebody of embezzling.
How would you know what that word would cause you tens of thousands of dollars and defending yourself in a lawsuit?
Okay, so I think we can take a vote on this. So, all in favor of requiring the training committee to come up with a list of words, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion fails. Any other new business? Okay, we're gonna go to good of the order. Anybody have good of the order they'd like to share today?
Are we done with new business?
Yes.
Can I use the microphone?
Is Chris Green here? Please come up front.
I just have a quick one. My children are in the Young Marines, and this is the time of year that they do, I'm sure you saw on Facebook, but they do Wreaths Across America, where people sponsor a wreath. You don't buy a wreath and take it home. What you do is you sponsor it, and the Young Marines take that wreath and place it on graves of veterans. So, and they also accompany veterans with them when they go and place the wreath. So, for instance, my daughter had an Air Force veteran that walked with her and placed the wreath. So, it's a great, it is. It's absolutely what I'm, the loss of words, sorry. But it's $15 a wreath. I posted on my Facebook, I think on Southwest Washington Opinions, and the Clark County PCO one. So if you guys feel so inclined, it would be nice if you could support that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Since we're on good of the order, I would like to mention two quick things. First of all, I want to thank the chair and two fabulous Republican women who did an amazing thing that most of us will never know about because he doesn't brag. And they came to the aid of a elderly couple that was with dementia that had left home in the morning to go to a doctor's office at 9 o'clock in South Tacoma. They walked into our business office because it was safe, because it had Republican signs. I want you to let that soak in for a minute. In the afternoon, they were lost and trying to figure out how to get home. And our chair worked with them. And Zippy Hartson, our office manager, our phenomenal, do everything for everybody person, and Penny Ross, who's exactly the same way, made sure that this older couple got all the way back home. And I think we need to say thank you to our volunteers, our chairs of volunteer, both of these ladies are volunteers, for the phenomenal job they do of holding up that beacon that this is a safe place. They did a great job. The other thing I want to tell you all before I go sit down and shut up for the day is we're about to go into the holidays. And I want to be reminding everybody that as we give thanks, I'm giving thanks for a Republican president. And I'm giving thanks for a Republican Party. And I'm giving thanks for you. And I'll be praying for us and our success and looking forward to 2018.
We have an election coming up very shortly, and I sent out an initial ask for volunteer observers, and I just got one reply. Thank you, Sharon. So I'm going to send that out again tomorrow, and I hope I get some more people. If everyone who is a trained observer would sign up for one shift, we'd have it all covered. I hope you know the Democrats have someone there every shift. We don't.
But is it the same person? All right, I know Mary Nevius and Kenneth wanted to come up and say something. They're from LD20.
Point of order, I think there was something that was supposed to be on the agenda, and that was Mr. Luciano's motion, or?
Yeah, were we not going to discuss what the guidelines are with the bylaws or not adhered to, that we're trying to?
Oh yeah, we had discussed.
Right. We don't have any guidelines in place whatsoever. With
Well,
the bylaws.
so we can't amend the bylaws today.
I understand that.
Okay.
I'm not asking.
So we can put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
I think that's probably a good idea.
Well, we have a committee set up, and I think that they're just good things to committee.
Okay.
We also missed the discussion on the mother of all resolutions.
Yeah, there was.
It was read, but there was no discussion.
It wasn't a resolution today, so there was no discussion.
No.
We just
It was
put it.
appointed.
Did you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to address everyone. I know you had your reset, and so I just wanted to make the body aware that it might have been reset, but the LD20 chair was voted out by the majority of the PCOs, PCO 528, and so that is not governed by the chair or the board. It's governed by the PCOs of LD20, and so Clyde Holland is no longer the chair. So I just wanted to go aware of that.
Was there a question for her? She just wanted to let you guys know.
I just wanted to let you know, because it might have been struck from minutes that it was discussed.
No, it's on video. I think
Oh, okay,
that
great.
whole meeting is.
Okay.
My name's Tom Tangen, Precinct 659. I'm the 17th Legislative District Chairman, so I'm on the executive board and have been to a lot of meetings the last few months. I wanted to apologize to the 17th PCOs and to all the PCOs that I wish I had been more on top of things in the spring and the summer when all this was building. I've been focusing on the 17th and have not spent as much time on looking at the executive board stuff, and this kind of blew up, and I feel that while I probably wouldn't have made a difference, I wish I had been more serious as these situations were brewing in the spring and the summer. And so I have found that I have voted one way one time and voted one way on the other time on these different issues, and I'm very thankful for the people in the 17th for the respect they've given me when I've disagreed with them. and realizing that I'm trying to judge between different parliamentarians and all this stuff, and I haven't memorized the RCWs, and so I thank you for that, and I look forward to focusing on the 17th more, but also keeping an eye on what's going on with the executive board with Clark County. So thank you.
Thank you. So before we leave, we can take a motion to adjourn here, but don't go anywhere. We're going to hear from Chris Green right afterwards. So do we want to have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Chris?
Almost tripped.
424. The big 424.
Hi, everybody. So, what an election season for an off year, huh? I am literally plowing the road for everybody to follow me. We've raised, between the two counts, over $700,000 for a $600 stipend a month position. It's awesome. I'm going to go down in the record books as to raising the most money in Clark County, I think. You know, it reminds me of the morning that I had breakfast with the staff and some of the CEOs of Tesoro here in Vancouver when I was pounding on the breakfast table telling them, you guys have got to get in this thing because I know that the other party is going to have more money come in. And gee, what happened? $290,000 came in on the last day. On the last day that they can have that money come in. We knew it was going to happen. It happened to Lisa 2 years ago. We saw it coming and we were prepared. And we're hitting the doors, we're hitting the phone banks, we're all over the internet. You probably have seen some of the videos that we put out. Social media, TV, radio is coming. So we are prepared, but we need to get the vote out. We need to energize the Republican Party in this county right now, today. Okay? Yeah.
Just to let you know, if you didn't get your ballot today, you'll probably get it tomorrow.
Monday.
20% of the voters vote immediately when they get that ballot. That day is really serious. So if you're inclined to help him with the phone banking or whatever you can do, you'll do him and the party a great service by getting out there and contacting voters and asking them to vote for Chris Green, because 20% is a huge percentage of the voter base.
He's absolutely right. The first 5 days, 40% of the folks vote in the county. That's pretty traditional. So he's absolutely correct. We need to get on the phones today to everybody in the Republican Party to vote. We need to turn it out. I can't tell you how important this is. The other side is very well organized. They've been very well organized for 5+ years. They're getting their message out and they're getting their votes out. Believe me when I say this, it is imperative that you guys help us out with it. Calling your constituents and your PCOs. We have phone banks going on today. George is in the back. George, you want to stand up? Go. He's doing a phenomenal job. He's our field coordinator. We need folks to call. I mean, that's all it is. Door knocking, yeah, if you want to door knock in the rain, we're doing that this afternoon. So it's critical time. It's the time of the election season to take action. And I can't tell you, I'm excited. I think we're going to win. We're doing some polling this weekend. And I'm excited, and I want to win. I want to win big time. I would love to see this be a landslide. The opponent that I'm running against has no clue on how to run that port. Trust me on that.
No, he's very for the environmental.
He wants to stop growth in our community. We can't afford to stop growth. So I am asking for your support. I'm asking for your energy. Over the next, 17 days is what we got left, basically. But we need to get the word out to our Republicans in this county to vote. So, phone banks,
See George. Knock and walks. See George. We want to activate our Republican vote. So I want to thank you for your current support. Did you want to say something? Yes. So George is in the back. He can get you all hooked up. Thank you very much, folks.